Hello, everyone. Matt Williamson here at Williamson NFL. How you doing? I had mentioned yesterday and got a lot of good responses about a big offensive goal I would have for the Steelers concerning their run game. Go into great detail about that on yesterday's podcast. Urge you to check it out. And promise you to come back with a defensive one as well. But before we do, I got to address a couple comments from you guys lately. Yes, we do have a bird, and sometimes you will hear him in the background. Larry the bird. He is green like the Celtics. And yes, he is a green cheek conure. So he has appeared on many of my podcasts and live radio throughout the years. I record this in my basement with the door shut above. He's up in the living room, good ways away, but he still chimes in. But you guys have mentioned him several times in the comments, and I've always meant to bring it up. And somebody was smart enough to go in yesterday's comments and said on YouTube, Matt must have a conure. Like, how do you know just by chirping which birds are which? But anyway, he's a good dude. So anyway, enough of that nonsense. Okay, I mentioned I had a yards per carry goal for the Steelers yesterday in terms of offense. On defense, they got to be back to basically leading the league in sacks. Wow, that's pretty lofty. It is. But I love this stat. Over the last 5 seasons, the Steelers have the most sacks in the league. Atlanta has the least. Over the last 10 years, the Steelers have the most sacks in the league. Atlanta has the least. Over the last 20 years, the Steelers have the most sacks in the league. The Falcons have the fewest. Now, is it the Steelers' God-given right to be the best sack team? Not pass rush team. I still think they're an exceptional pass rush team. That's not the same as the best sack team in the league. And heck, I mean, I would settle for a top 3 defense in sacks in 2025. Doesn't have to be number 1. But last year, the Steelers had 40 sacks. That is tied with the Bears. Middle of the road. I mean, to give you some perspective, 40. The Patriots had 28. That was the lowest. You guessed it. The Falcons had 31. Titans, Panthers, 32. Jags, 35. They're the worst in the league. You're not that much better than them. Who are the best teams in the league? Well, Denver blew everyone's doors off. 63 in 17 games. Then you're talking about the Baltimore Birdies at 54, Dallas at 52, Houston and Minnesota at 49. So you're not that far away from them either. You're middle of the pack, but a little on the low end. I can't live with that anymore. Because including Denver, I think the Steelers have as good a pass rushers as any team in the league. And I think you have to be, let's call it 50 plus sacks, but top 3 would be 52 or more from last year. 63 is a pretty large number to say the least. But you got to be in contention to lead the league in sacks. I don't think that's asking too much. That seems like a big goal. It is a big goal. Watt, Highsmith, Cam. You just drafted a first-round D lineman. You drafted another edge guy. Herbig's a great pass rusher. Benton. I mean, like, you've got pass rushers. So, in a minute, I'll get to more details about this. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the NBA to NHL playoffs to the MLB and UFC and boxing, BetOnline has you covered for all your online wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. I have a handful of things that I think are important in this equation. Not quite as many factors as yesterday with the yards per carry stuff, but I think you get the idea. Now, a huge problem to me, side note, that the Steelers now for several years in a row are amongst the very best in the league, like top 2 in batting down passes at the line of scrimmage. Watt's great at it. Hayward's unbelievable at it. So that's another good thing that this front is doing that I think is noteworthy. Cool. It's not the same as sacks, but it is production from that group, which I think is very good in the passing game, obviously. Batting down passes. Great. A huge problem to me with the sack production stems from good quarterbacks in particular getting the ball out too quick in order for people to really even get home. Now, if you look at the entire season, the average time to throw against the Steelers defense isn't the lowest or quickest in the league. It isn't even like quickest 5 or 6, but it's right around 10. I didn't look it up, right for this podcast, but I know it is right around there. So there's a little bit of a misconception of, boy, the ball comes out too quick all the time. Well, yes and no. As the season went on, the ball came out quicker and quicker and quicker. There became a blueprint against the Steelers. Boom, first read, get it out. Like that Christmas game with Mahomes, under 2.5 seconds is quick. He was at like 2.1, which is faster than like Ben's last year when he couldn't hold him the ball at all. Rodgers was super quick about him. I mean, so the top quarterbacks processing wise, and I'm not implying Rodgers is as good as Mahomes, but he's still an elite processor. Later in the season, there became a blueprint, and the better quarterbacks, which they faced better in later in the year, Burrow, etc., got the ball out really, really quick. Now, we know that's not Lamar's game. He is a hold it guy. So playing the Ravens twice drove those numbers up. So that's something that the defensive front can't combat on their own. I mean, if the ball's coming out, sacks are really hard to get to in under 2.5 seconds, let alone 2-1, 2-2. It's almost impossible. If someone's going to at least get in your way, even if you're TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, you're not going to record many sacks in those instances. So how do you combat that? To me, the biggest issue here is they have to vary their coverages a lot more. They were a really high, single high cover 3 zone team. And they do play man, but it's often out of off coverage, like a cover 3 shell. You can still play man out of it or zone, but a lot of single high. I think they have to become way more aggressive with a couple things. First off, banging receivers at the line of scrimmage, press man. And I've talked about this to no end. I think a huge problem with that, you can blame the coordinator if you want, and I get that. I think the coordinator definitely, Austin, needs to be more creative and vary things up, no doubt. But I think Jackson really hamstrung things. If he's your second best corner and he can't play man, which he really couldn't, you can't just have Joey play man and him play zone all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that hurt. Now, I think Slay allows you to play a lot more man. I hope Trice allows you to play more man. And I'm talking like old school Lester Hayes, Deion Sanders at the line of scrimmage, press man, old school coverage. And you don't see a ton of that in the league. But all I need is 0.3 more seconds for Watt to feast and Highsmith and Hayward, etc., etc., etc. I have all the faith in the world in the pass rushers. It's the guys in coverage that are hamstringing those guys. Now, I think the Steelers, a very low blitz percentage team, they are not Blitzburgh anymore by any stretch. They are a 4-man rush team, which is wonderful. That's what you want to be. Watch the Super Bowl. The Eagles didn't blitz once, I don't think, in that game. If you can get home with 4 consistently, you get home 4 consistently. But I'm looking at it like this. This defense is very talented. You got to play Burrow twice. You got to play Lamar twice. You hopefully to play in Mahomes and Allen and those guys in the playoffs, etc. And you're going to be at a quarterback disadvantage. So they may torch you once or twice, but I want to hit them so often. I want to take the fight to them. So I want to blitz more. I want to lead the league in sacks. Maybe Burrow doesn't finish a game against you. Ooh, I'm not saying be cheap, but I'm saying you hit him a lot. And even if he burns the blitz and Jamar Chase is doing a dance in the end zone once or twice a game, I'm cool with it. Take the fight to them. Do they have to be a big blitz team? No. But think about when they were leading the league in sacks, 5 years in a row, which is crazy. And I think their pass rushers are better now than then, or at least equal. They got a lot of sacks out of Vince Williams, Mike Hilton, slot blitzes. How many times in our lifetime have the Steelers, going back to Kendrell Bell, had that X blitz coming from the second level? You got to do some of it. Patrick Queen's a really good pass rusher. Roberts was, but he's not back. Wilson was in college. I'm not sold that he will be in the pros. And Harrison, the new acquisition, is a very good pass rusher too. Now, Hilton was a rare blitzer from the slot, but that doesn't mean you can't mix up a defensive back blitz here and there. I think Minka is great at it, especially coming out of the slot. You can scheme those things up. A lot of that's timing. I mean, Mike Hilton didn't beat Andrew Whitworth one-on-one. As a pass rusher, he came clean and he timed it well and was schemed up. So I need more press man. I need more blitz. I need more variety. And the last couple notes here too, which this one sounds like it's going to happen some. I don't need it to happen all the time, but moving Watt around has to be at least in your bag of tricks. It's too easy for him to always be coming from the quarterback's right side. And it's such a gauntlet that he has to face always two, often three, pass protectors of some sort. If you look, I think there are the elite tier of pass rushers to me are Bosa, Parsons, Garrett, Watt, and I think I'm going to put Crosby in the elite ones too. Watt is the only one of the group that always comes from the same spot. You got to move these guys around. And he, even this offseason, acknowledged that, I'm more up to doing that. Yes, I'm way more comfortable coming from my left edge spot. But give me 7 pass rushes a game, 5 pass rushes a game from the other side, and maybe even 1 off the ball, here and there. You just got to mix it up a little bit. To know where such an amazing player is coming from makes the offense's job, which is already really hard, just a little bit easier. So that intrigues me. It also intrigues me schematically that I think they flirted with this with Preston Smith, and they did going back to when they had Ingram, incorporating 3, quote, outside linebackers on the field together. I would love to see a package with Herbig, Highsmith, and Watt, probably on 3rd and longs, all on the field together, because they're all fantastic pass rushers. I don't know that Sawyer can kick inside like Preston Smith did, nor do I want him to, because that might mean taking Harmon or Benton or something like that off the field as like a D tackle NASCAR. I don't really care about that. But I would love to see those 3 elite or 3 great edge pass rushers on the field together sometime at least. The other one, Harmon's very disruptive. Harmon wasn't in the mix last year. Now, he's a rookie. I don't know what we'll get out of him. We can all be excited about him 2 weeks after he got drafted, as we should. But I think pass rush and pocket disruption should basically be expected from him. So that's a bump, certainly over Ogunjobi. So all those things to me would be good starter points to lead the league in sacks, get the 50 plus, be top 3. But let's lead the league in sacks. I've mentioned this before. One more corner wouldn't be bad either. Jalen Ramsey. I know that's never going to happen, but hey, dare to dream. Lastly, it sure helps to play with leads. How many times in the last 5 years has Heinz Field / Acrisure had towels waving like crazy people with the Steelers leading by 12 with 4 minutes on the clock and TJ's just teeing off? Hasn't happened very much in his whole career, to be honest with you, let alone the last 4 or 5 years when the Steelers are in 13-9 games over and over and over. Now, I don't have a great remedy to start blowing teams out in the fourth quarter, but I did think that's noteworthy that they consistently did lead the league in sacks up until last year or right or near the top, despite not having huge leads. Like the Ravens, the Eagles, they're always winning heavy in the fourth quarter, and it's pass rush time. The Steelers haven't had that advantage very often, really, since Ben was in his prime. Now, that I don't have the answer for. That's more of a crystal ball. Oh, how do you just blow out every team and put them away with sacks? But it does boost your sack numbers. So again, listen to yesterday's podcast. Did a similar one on offense in the running game. And I don't think these are that much to ask. I'm not asking to be our goal here is to be winning every game by 10 with 2 minutes left. No, that's crazy. But to ask this front and this defense as a whole to be amongst the best sack teams, because I already do think they're amongst the best pass rush teams, I don't think it's too much to ask at all. And hitting quarterbacks over and over and over, yeah, sign me up for that. All right, take care.